So I thought I'd just unbox this Sunfounder Ultimate Starter Kit. I'm starting to just get involved in electronics to teach my little ones how to program a little bit better. This one was ordered on the 7th of July, now the 14th of July, from AliExpress. So the delivery was just over a week, although the tracking said it was going to be delivered at the end of July. Sometimes my experience with AliExpress is you get the packages a little bit crumpled, but this particular package has been pretty well packaged up and has come in within a week, which is a record for any of the orders that I've received from AliExpress. So as you can see here, here's the package. It's the Kepler kit for Raspberry Pi Pico W. What I'm trying to do is, as you know, I'm involved in a bit of gardening. It's got some electronics here. I want my solar panel hydro system to be automatically watered, but what I need to do is, what I was planning to do is build my own kit from stuff like this, and at the same time teach myself a bit of programming. I do have a bit of a programming background, but I don't use it anymore in my current position. So I would like to try and build my understanding of these electronics kits so that I can apply it in day-to-day activity. And so as you can see here, the Kepler kit for Raspberry Pi Pico W. It's all packaged up nice and neat. So as you can see here, underneath all the items in here. I'm quite excited to go. Once I get started with this kit, I'll be sure to let you know how it goes. So far this has been relatively easy to do. I've got onto the website that was illustrated on the front of the box. I've gone through to the YouTube tutorials, and I'm going through step by step as I follow along. So all it gets you to do is hook up your Pico W. So I've just hooked this up to my computer here, and what it does, it automatically represents it or recognises it on the USB. I've opened up the Raspberry documentation here and downloaded the Raspberry Pico W. That downloads a file over in this section here, and I'll drop and drag it over into the Control-C, Control-V into the USB when it was recognised on my desktop, and that copied it in. And what happened then was that the Pico Wii was recognised and the USB disappeared, which is apparently part of the stepwise instruction that once that Pico W file is downloaded, and that was the page there, it gets rid of the USB recognition, but it means that it's installed properly onto the microprocessor. The second step that I've been following here is just to download the Thonny MicroPython interface, and this is what we're up to now. So from the tutorial that was online, this is the piece of code from the very first lesson, which I've managed to get working. I think the key thing here really is recognising that when you first load things up, you need to make sure that that it's pointing to the MicroPython board. You can see here the original default is the local Python 3, but you have to click on that little icon down on the bottom, MicroPython Raspberry Pi board, and it then connects to your board. And so to get this little program running, you need to come up here and press the play button. And what happens is that your Pico board starts recognising that code, and the internal LED through this line of code recognises that it needs to toggle on and off every 5 seconds. And to stop it operating, you come up and select the stop icon up here. Stop restart backend, and the Pico W board responds by stopping the program. So for the next exercise, I've been told to load the Pico board into the supplied breadboard, and what I did find was it's actually quite tricky, at least for the first time, to get the pins into the breadboard. So what I just had to do, I'm trying to apply an even pressure. I had to kind of rock it back and forth, and trying to make sure that you put even pressure over it as it goes in. It was originally sitting up off the pins, but if you get it aligned properly and put the right pressure on it, what you'll find is that eventually it does click in where the yellow is aligned with the breadboard. I actually found the YouTube tutorial quite useful to show how to kind of rock it in across the pressure, but it's a little bit tricky, and I did the little pins, the soldering pins, actually put a bit of pressure on my fingers there, and I had to put a fair bit of downward force on it, but rocked it in gently so as not to bend any of the pins. So this is my second little program here. What we're doing, we're connecting the Pico up to the pins there. The way that it's been hooked up, according to the chart, is we're hooking it up to GP15 pin, and then we're grounding the resistor to pin 18. So you can see here, that's this pin here. I'm just running out a red cable to the positive, which is the long leg of the LED, and there's the short leg of the LED, which is then connected to a 220 ohm resistor, and then running the white cable back to the ground pin on the Pico. So you can see here that the pin number 18 is the ground. So I'm using pins 20 and pin 18. Then when I click the play button, what we're seeing here in the code, if it will eventually focus, you can see that I'm importing the machine library and the pin object, and also the sleep function. I'm assigning the pin number 15, which is the last pin, as an output, and then I go into this loop while true. The red LED dot value turns it off, sleep for 1 second, and dot value 1 turns it back on, and it sleeps for 2 seconds. So you can see what it's doing is it turns off for a shorter period, and it turns on for a double long period, or 2 seconds. And so that's a nice little project there. So I'll stop there and see what you think. Feel free to comment, but if I come back with any more projects, I'll try and post a couple for you later on.